Hello there.
Welcome to Tidy Ventures and Find Out Friday,
Yay.
which is your opportunity to ask us anything, as long as it's not too weird. So, today's question we've got from Mark from Birmingham, and he wants to know, how do you find asbestos and what do you do with it?
Oh, right, okay. Well, believe it or not, if you're going to refurbish a property, by right, you should have an asbestos survey done so that your workmen know whether they're coming into an environment that's safe to work, okay? Now, asbestos reports do cost a fair bit of money to have done, but, okay, it's worth having done. So you'll get a guy, he'll come in and he'll check all the walls, he'll check the ceilings, Artex, for example. If it's pre-1970, a lot of Artex has got asbestos in, okay? If it's after 1970 that the work was done, it's highly likely it hasn't got asbestos. But the only way you can find out 100% is by having an asbestos report done. And what they do, they take away little samples. So they'll scratch the Artex, put it in a little test tube, take it away and have it tested, okay? And the other thing, a common thing is garage roofs, shed roofs, old, lean-to roofs, they may have corrugated sheets on. It looks like maybe cement sheets, but very often that's a type of asbestos as well.
Yes, it can be quite costly to dispose of.
So
that's the only thing with it, is getting it disposed kind of costs a bit of
so
money.
then if it is asbestos, you're supposed to obviously dispose of it in a certain way. If you've got corrugated sheets on a shed, you can, believe it or not, maybe as long as you do it safely, you can take them off yourself and you can take those sheets to maybe a local tip, council tip I mean now, but you need to check first and they will maybe dispose of them. But again, you need to check first, very important. And it can be costly. Just give you a quick example. The club that we bought a couple of years ago, we were told there's no asbestos in there. We then discovered there was, and it cost over £20,000 to have it all removed properly.
Ouch.
Yes, so there was nothing we could do about it because the company that we bought the club off, they went bust, and the document that they gave us saying there was no asbestos was fraudulent. But again, it was a cost totally unexpected, but there we are. Anyway, still made money, so that was good. Next question.
So Sam from Neath wants to know, when do you replace a boiler, or would you replace a boiler when you're buying a house?
Right, okay, so rule of thumb is if the boiler's 10 years or older, change it, okay? Boilers are not that expensive these days, okay? I wouldn't recommend that you go to the likes of maybe your local DIY store and buy a boiler or a make that you've never heard of, okay? Always invest in a good boiler, maybe Baxi, Worcester, Ideal, any of those makes, because the parts and the service engineers are readily available. But for peace of mind, particularly if you're going to let the property, you buy a boiler, you can have 3, 5 and even 7 years on these boilers now. So it's worth having or changing the boiler, okay? Even if it's 8 years old, peace of mind, full guarantee for up to 7 years is fantastic. So definitely worth investing in a new boiler every time, if it's 8 years or over. 10 years, definitely change your boiler.
Yeah, and we get ours through LMPG, and they offer really good prices on Worcester, so you can buy heat packs with them, which include all your radiators, towel rails, boilers, for a really good price actually. So you're probably better off, like Roy said, if it is older, getting one of them and knowing that you're not going to have loads of repair calls and breakdowns and all that. So, and if I was buying a property and the boiler was old, if I was putting all my money into this house thinking, if the boiler went, I wouldn't have the money to have a new boiler system. For me, that's a big selling point as well. So that is something that we like to do.
Yeah. Solicitors and valuers, they're very keen on that as well. If it's an old boiler, they will now actually say that the boiler's old and may need replacing in a year or two. So that could come back and bite you, if you're trying to sell the property and you haven't changed the boiler, for example. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Right, until next time, folks. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Learn About Property Facebook group, where all these videos, content and more is on there. Yeah, on there for you to see. So, right, see you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.